On August 21st, the United States will be treated to a total solar eclipse, one that will span the country from sea to shining sea. It'll be the first time that's happened in nearly 100 years.
Bomb a bomb a bomb a bomb bomb a bomb a bomb for dang 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 for ding it on ding doo. You saw me standing alone. Moon river, wider than a mile. I'm crossing you in style someday. I see the fair moon rising. I see trouble on the way.
It's the moon, here to regale you with the tune. I'm so bright up in the sky at night, but the truth is I'm just reflecting light. See, let me help you break it down. The earth and I are spinning around, and I orbit the earth in a loop.
You see, the moon is kind of like my hula hoop.
But now it's getting late, and the moon is rising high.
As I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow.
There's a moon out tonight.
Sunshine, go away today. I don't feel much like dancing.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy.
Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs.
We stand on the cusp of a new epoch, one of prophecy, puzzles, and signs in the sky. And that epoch begins today.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come here for a minute. I want to talk to you. I'm listening. What's the mama say?
Mama says you're brain dead, bang your head against the wall.
Ow!
Can't find peace of mind, brain needs an overhaul. Bonehead, brain dead, we're all the same. You can't think straight when your heart is in pain. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay your burden down.
The views expressed on this broadcast of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show are those of the co-host and guest and do not necessarily reflect those of our affiliates.
That's
the
right.
Topics and opinions on today's show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice.
No.
Take 12 Radio is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Hallelujah.
And now, here's your host,
the man, the myth, the legend,
the Monty Man.
I wouldn't lie to you, baby.
I'm telling you the truth, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Good guys, bad boys,
We're all the same. Saved by grace is the name of the game. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay your burden down. Welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show.
How long did you spend on that?
I don't know. About as long as the eclipse took. Yes, indeed. If you're tuning into the show right now and it is right after the eclipse, you are crazy. You are crazy for looking at... Did you look at the sun without your glasses on? Did you? Out there
all the time.
In listener land?
All the time.
Yeah. Tony kept listening. Tony kept doing it.
I almost went blind.
So Tony is here.
Good morning.
Tony is here.
Yes.
Denver's here.
Morning, evening, or somewhere.
Mark is here.
Yes, sir.
And James and Cassie are here. You guys say hi in the background.
Hello.
Hello. James and Cassie are our special guests in the studio today. And James is Tony's SO, I guess you would say, in recovery land. Significant other.
Oh, I was
right?
like, what does that even mean?
So.
Oh.
So
Yes.
He talks, you go, so.
But he's been in your crawl space, so you know him better than
James has been in my crawl space. He knows my upstairs.
Yes.
James works for for Mike's Heating and Air Conditioning. I know they didn't pay me to say that. So he's been up in our attic. Attic? Drug addict?
With the K.
Attic?
Enough.
Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Well, the topic this week is what eclipses your recovery? We're going to be talking about things that may overshadow. I've got 10 top ones that we can talk about your own recovery. But, yeah, so interesting event that just took place.
That was cool.
Outside of the studio.
That was really cool.
So your thoughts. Let's chime in. What are your thoughts? Marv, what'd you think?
I don't know. Pretty cool.
Marv's like,
He's like,
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Tony, what'd you think?
What I think?
What'd you
I'm
think?
just glad I didn't go blind.
Wasn't that a trip?
It was cool.
It was a trip.
It was really cool.
It's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't gone blind yet.
I know.
Yeah.
I almost did.
So Jesus didn't come back. Aliens didn't attack the earth. You know, Denver, what'd you think of the whole thing?
It's short. But, yeah, it was cool.
It's very pretty.
Once in a lifetime thing for me.
Hey,
Yeah.
some of the best things are short, like me.
I agree.
That's right.
I agree.
Stop right there.
Oh, Lord.
It's time for Monty Man's Weekly Wine.
That's right. It is time for my weekly wine. And we got two things to whine about. I'm going to do mine first, and Tony's going to talk about hers. So listen, we are living in a world recently where people want to just tear down everything. We got people tearing down statues. We got people tearing down posters. We got people tearing this, blah, blah, blah. Protest. There was a time when everybody was lawsuit happy. Remember that? Everybody was suing people for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now they're protest happy.
Oh, Lord.
You know, people are protesting the manner in which they use the private facilities. I mean, from everything from that all the way to, ready for it? Ready for
I
it?
know what you're going to say.
People were protesting the eclipse.
Totally on board.
Somebody needs to pull the needle out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, people
Pull
are
the
idiots.
needle out of your head. So there was a news report.
How can you, do that? It's like God's work. You can't even protest that.
I guess we just hit a new boredom. You know, people protesting the eclipse. You know, they all gathered together in downtown Portland.
What is it,
You know,
Portland?
yeah. Well, of course, it's Portland. Keep Portland weird. There's no problem doing that. What are you going to protest? I have nothing to. I'll protest the eclipse. I have nothing better to do with my time.
Being bored is a sure sign you're thinking of yourself.
Isn't it? It really is. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. So how'd that work for you? Eclipse stopped, did it? Yeah. It stopped. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As we roll on.
Yeah, the moon and the sun said, "Oh, we're listening."
What do you think they're doing now?
Pull your mic.
They're probably rioting up
Eat your
there.
mic there, Tony. Pull
I
your
said
mic.
they're probably rioting up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The sun's going, hey, you see those idiots down there? The moon's going, I'm telling you. Say, what are they going to
They're
protest
probably
next?
bashing windows and stuff right now.
They're going to protest that the eclipse too long. Or was too
short. Say it.
Too short.
Too short.
And by the way, I'm not going to go there. We'll go there next time. All right, so Tony's got a wine, though. Tony is the queen of the Golden Arches.
List.
Tony works at the Golden Arches.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that. That keeps us out of trouble. The Golden Arches. All right, and you've been working there for how long?
7 years in September.
7 years. That's a long time.
That's too
And you've
long.
gotten awards and recognition and all sorts of things.
Yeah,
because
and now I make minimum wage 7 years later. So
yeah, you make yeah. That's what happens when you raise the minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
People that were making more, that deserved more, are now making minimum wage. And I'm part of that group. Unbelievable. So, okay, talk to us about your weekly wine.
Okay, so my weekly one is more like a list because let me tell you about drive-through etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, which is the most annoying, do not smoke through the drive-through. I'm a light smoker, but do not smoke through the drive-through. It's nasty.
People smoking?
Smoking.
While in
a
the
lot of
drive-thru.
stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff. Meth, cigarettes, weed.
The old meth pipe, huh?
People smoking meth while going to the drive-thru. Wow.
Got to eat and run.
That happened like 2 months ago.
That puts a whole new spin on
Yes.
fast food, right? Yeah.
Having your loud... loud chihuahua coming through or your dog that barks.
Yeah.
Coming up to the speaker and saying hello before we ever get a chance to actually say hi to you first.
Right.
What else is there? Oh, talking on your cell phone while we're sitting there waiting for you to order.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my God, that's so annoying. So annoying. They're like, can you hold please? I'm like,
What?
they do.
No, I
Yes.
cannot hold.
I'm like, why don't you just park and come in, you idiots?
Moron.
No, and we have to wait for them, which sucks. And my last one would be, loud kids.
Loud
don't
kids.
shut up. Be parents.
So they're in the
Teach them
background
well.
screaming.
Oh my God!
And you
Yeah.
can't hear the.
And then they get mad at you because you can't hear them.
So I was in the drive-through at your 5 facility one time,
Mm-hmm.
and the lady ahead of me was on her cell phone, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting,
Yes.
and I'm waiting, and so I honk, and she flips me off.
Oh, that was another one.
She
The
honked,
honking.
but there was nobody in front of her.
Oh,
There
I
were
know.
2 cars had already
See,
left.
that's like 2 in 1.
Right? And she's on her phone, which goes back to the stupid smartphone thing again, texting while driving, texting while fast fooding.
I don't know about that one because
Yeah.
we can't see them.
You can't see, but you've seen them pull up to the thing and they're on their phone talking while you're trying to communicate with them.
Yeah. And they're like, can you hold? I'm like, you're in my drive-thru, really? We're not.
Did you ever
Fucking come in.
have you ever had anybody unhappy with their order and throw it back at you?
No.
That's not happened yet.
Don't let that happen
Yeah.
because I will throw it right back at them.
Yeah.
So that's my one.
Anxious for that day.
Yeah. Are you?
You're going to do it too.
No, I don't care to have food thrown
I'll
at
be like,
me.
Deborah, don't.
But
So
that-
one of our employees or one of our interns at Teen Challenge last year came up to your drive-thru and said, "Why are you mad at me?" Remember?
I still don't remember who that is.
It was Travis.
Oh, Travis?
Yeah, he's just joking around. He goes, "Why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me for?"
You're going to have to get a picture of him because I don't remember that. I remember the conversation. I just don't remember the face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my one. That's it.
That's your wine. Okay.
I
Drive-through
could
wine.
go. I could go longer, but I won't.
So if you have a weekly wine, you have something you'd like to whine about, please email me here at take12radio@comcast.net and we'll talk about it. We'll whine about it.
Maybe.
With you. Maybe.
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 Disclaimer there.
Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Maybe. All right. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we get some goodies. Don't go away. Don't eclipse the show. Don't eclipse the show. Beep.
Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
When I got back from Iraq, I just couldn't shake the guilt that I came home and 34 other men did not. There isn't a drink or a drug out there that can touch that kind of pain. Believe me, I tried. But when I heard a Teen Challenge story on the radio, I finally decided to get help. This program did for me what nothing else seemed to be able to do. It gave me hope. Now I can finally move on and live my life in a way that honors those who lost theirs.
To locate a Teen Challenge Center near you or for more information, visit teenchallengeusa.com.
He's insane. He's a control freak. So, what's your point? It's the Monty Man at take12radio.com on your internet dial.
Well, zippity-doo-dah and zippity-day. It's time to play everybody's favorite game show, Take 12 Trivia. And today, it's all about the eclipse.
I knew it.
And all the stupid hype and stuff and all the stuff and stupid hype around the eclipse. So, yeah. So take it away, the Monty Man.
Yes. Thank you, Cecil. And Take 12 Trivia is brought to you by the 12-Step Gazette, award-winning recovery magazine. Please visit their website at 12stepgazette.com. All right, stupid things that were predicted to happen days before the solar eclipse or during. All right, so there's 3 categories here. This is category number 1. All right, which one of these was actually predicted to happen. 2 of them were not, that we know of. One of them was. Number 1, Jesus would return and the tribulation would begin. Number 2, the northern coastline would experience a tsunami. Or 3, Elvis would make an appearance.
Predicted by who?
Are you serious?
The Inquirer?
That's what happens when you smoke meth through the drive-thru.
What do you think? Jesus would come back, the North Coast would experience a tsunami, or Elvis would show up?
I say B.
B, the northern coastline would experience a tsunami. What do you think, Marv?
Come on.
We all
okay, Elvis is going to show up.
We all want the horn to sound in our favor. It's going to be B, but I was really hoping for
It's probably
C.
Well, actually, it was predicted that Jesus would return and the tribulation would begin by many, 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 many people. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Never heard that.
Yeah. So, you guys got it wrong.
I
There you
would
go.
almost like Elvis to make an appearance.
Wow.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, here's category number 2. Which one of these actually happened? Number 1, the traffic on Interstate 5 between Eugene and Portland would be backed up so bad that looting would occur on the freeway.
What would they loot?
Was that predicted? Or
What's on the freeway? There's nothing.
Or number 2, there would be so much weight on Highway 101 between Newport and Lincoln City that the roads would collapse and cars would fall into the ocean. That was the second one that could have been predicted. Number 3, tourists from the Orient would take over the coastline and we would have to learn Japanese and Chinese.
Where do you come
what do you think?
up with this?
What do you
I'll go along with the I-5 deal.
the I-5 deal?
Okay.
What do you think? Cassie, what do you think? Yell it out there. What do you think? I don't know. You don't know? What do you think, James?
I-5.
I-5?
Broken highway.
What would they loot, though?
From the
There's
coast.
nothing there.
Well, you guys are correct. It was predicted that there'd be so much weight on Highway 101 between Newport and Lincoln City that the roads would collapse and cars would literally
They really
fall
thought
into
that?
the ditches. Yeah. They did.
Well,
did.
we-
There was a whole committee in Lincoln City that was prepared for that to happen.
We haven't got word yet. Right?
No, we haven't.
Well, wait a minute. We kind of did because they were saying on the radio that the coast is upset because not many people showed up.
No,
over there.
I mean,
What? I thought they were sold out.
No.
No. We heard that a lot of glasses have been bought and they didn't get bought. They were
Really?
They were purchased for this purpose and now
One
they
guy-
sit
one
till
guy
the
was-
next eclipse.
I'm sorry. One guy was talking about he bought 1,000
What?
German sausages, 1,000 hot dogs, and 1,000 hamburgers, and he
Right.
sold 2 hot dogs yesterday.
Holy shit.
Well, my son Colin is engaged to the daughter of the regional manager for Elmer's Restaurants, and her office is here in Albany, and they purchased literally thousands and thousands of dollars of extra food, and it's not needed.
Hey,
And-
if they're the strawberry crepes, they can give them to me.
So, I love those.
Oh my God.
So
good.
you know what happens is this affects a lot of people. We talked about that, Marv. You were gonna remember you talked about the effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hold that thought. Right after we do this third one, I want you to share about that. Here's number 3. This is the third and last chance. Which one of these was actually predicted? Number 1, fire would begin to fall out of heaven.
Makes sense.
Oh my God.
Number 2, grocery stores would completely run out of food and we would starve to death. Or 3, restaurant chains would actually close their doors in fear of not being able to accommodate their customers.
Okay. Fire from heaven because they predicted that Jesus was coming.
I guess.
It all ties
no,
together.
Jesus
so.
did not bring fire.
Fire from the sky.
No, Jesus does not bring fire.
How do you
need to
know?
read your Bible. Need to read your Bible.
He parts waters.
Nah, he's not going to destroy the world with a flood again.
Not this go round.
Not this go round. No.
I say B.
B, grocery stores would completely run out of food and we would starve to death?
Yeah.
What do you think, Marv?
I'm going to go with A.
A, fire would come out of heaven. Well, actually, it was 3. Restaurant chains would actually close their doors in fear of not being able to accommodate their customers.
We
And in
saw-
fact, a couple of them did do that.
Really?
Yeah, on the coast. Yeah. Yeah, we got a friend that lives over there, and he says they were so concerned that they would have so many people that there would be rioting and everything, so they decided we're just not even going to open.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once again, the results are not in.
They're writing.
Yeah, the results are not in. But I will tell you, there's been an awful lot of hype, unnecessary hype, of course. You know, I mean, the traffic, there was no traffic going to Salem on Saturday to go see Matthew West and Mercy Me and Mac Powell. There was no traffic going there or coming back. There was no traffic. People going to the coast coming back. No traffic, no problems. But today I did see some of the aerial shots of the freeways and stuff where people were pulled over.
It's a little different this morning.
This morning's a little different.
Yeah. There's people out parked and tripods are set up. Bathroom lines are long.
Right. Yeah. So you stood in or you tried to stand in a bathroom line.
I didn't stand long. That's for sure.
At Fred Meyer's, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I pulled in there and was going to use their restroom, and I walked around the corner, and there's a line, and I'm thinking, So I went to our local, another convenience store.
Right.
And walked in, got the key, went, did my business, turned the key in, came on over. But, yeah, there was tripods out in the parking lot. I came in from shed out there in the pasture land. There's 2 or 3 motor coaches parked out there with tripods set up.
Right.
They're sitting in the chair about an hour and a half early. I'm thinking, man, you got a long way.
What's a tripod?
A tripod?
Uh-huh.
It's a 3-legged anything. In this case, for cameras to sit on.
Oh.
You know, kind of like my camera thing I have behind the door that I've used.
Oh, with the webcam thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So tripod is Greek. Trapeza. It means 3-legged stool or table.
Just didn't go to Starbucks. It was right there.
Do what?
Starbucks had a bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to make a stop at this other store.
Oh, okay.
They have a lot of dollar items. I won't say the name, but a lot of dollar.
So, Marv, talk to us about what you were talking about the eclipse affecting or all the hype and everything.
Well, yeah, this was something I heard on the news coming into town, that how it was going to affect irrigation in eastern Oregon for the big hay farmers, potatoes and stuff like that.
Right.
That the circular irrigation systems are actually controlled by cell phones, and they're thinking that towers are going to be so overloaded it's going to shut down irrigation control.
Wow. All because people are freaking out or they're communicating with each other and
photographs,
right? All at one time,
like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's amazing how things have a chain reaction, have a domino effect, and one thing affects another, affects another, affects another. So here's the thing that I think is just absolutely just wonderful, absolutely wonderful, is that we were able to stand outside, not pay a penny, and look up in the sky.
People get mad because I put that on my Facebook. They're like, well, it's worth it. I'm like, no, I can go outside and not pay anything.
Not pay.
It's over thousands of dollars to come see 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what the news is for.
Absolutely. So that does it for Take 12 Trivia for this week. Oh, but check this out. Listen to this.
Oh, Lord.
Our top story today will experience a rare total eclipse of the sun. A solar eclipse is like a woman breastfeeding in a restaurant.
What?
It's free, it's beautiful, but under no circumstances should you look at it.
That's Flanders.
That's Flanders, yeah.
Who?
Flanders. From The Simpsons. Yeah, it's free, but beautiful, but you should not look at it. Had to throw that in there. Just had to. Hey, listen, coming up is the 5th annual Conquering Grounds Music Fest 2017, a benefit to help fight addiction. And this is free, by the way. It's September 9th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. At the Christian Life Center at 3100 Galloway Road in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. The cantinas will be there, KG52 and 424. For more information, visit musicfest2017.org. And then not long after that, Take 12 Radio will be at the 16th Annual Clark County Recovery Forum, hosted by Southwest Washington Recovery Coalition. That'll be Saturday, September 16th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Clark College, Vancouver, Washington. And we'll all be there. Won't we?
Yes.
Yes. Tony be there. Won't we, Denver?
Yes, I hope so.
Yes, if you can get the time off.
You betcha.
We'll be there with our Take
You
12
work
T-shirts on, and
I work when they say work.
yeah, they do. So we're gonna all try to be there. Marv, you need to come.
Bring your horse.
Thanks for the invite.
Saddle up the horse.
If we can get Marv to come, he can sit at the booth and give you cowboy wisdom. There's that. And then the 6th annual Hope Fest. His Grace is Enough for You, Saturday, October 14th. Take 12 Radio will be there as well from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the beautiful Prescott Courthouse Plaza in Prescott, Arizona. So make sure you talk to the Monty Man. He'll be walking around with his microphone along with some other folks. Live music, local and national recording artists, guest speakers, free family fun zone, the Hope Search Community Resource Fair, food vendors, and more. All at the 6th Annual Hope Fest on Saturday, October 14th. There you go. That's it for announcements for today. All right, we already did the breastfeeding bit. So let's get to our topic. So our topic this week is what eclipses your recovery? So I've got 10 that I came up with, and anybody can chime in. Number 1, getting a job way too soon. Way too soon. So let me give you an example. I've sponsored many men in my 12-step fellowship, and one of the questions I ask of them is, when I first meet them, is, do you have to work right now? Mm-hmm. And on occasion, they will say, no, I don't. I say, okay, then don't. Because we want to spend as much time as we can working on your 12-step program, working on getting plugged into a recovery meeting or fellowship, and developing a spiritual relationship with your Creator. That's what we want to work on. And if you can stay away from getting employed at the moment, few can, but if you can, and there's been a couple of people that they've got finances and they can do it. And so what happens a lot of times is they'll ignore that. They'll say, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to meet them for coffee and they don't show up. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I got a job over at Golden West, or I got a job over at, whatever. Mm-hmm. And this is what I hear. I got a job. I mean, I got sober. I got a job. I got a truck. I got a girlfriend. I got drunk.
That's horrible.
Put it to a set of chords and you got a song.
You almost do. So sometimes getting employment, in other words, it's a distraction. If you don't have to do it, it's better to focus on your recovery. So it may not be practical for some, but for some people it is. So there's that one. Number 2, getting into a relationship.
That's not necessarily true, though.
What?
Because I was 2 months sober when I started McDonald's.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think sometimes it's
Yeah,
better.
look what happened to you.
It was down spiral from there. But no, I think that helped
rare.
me, though.
But that's rare. That's rare.
Yeah.
Did you have to work?
I didn't have to work, but I did, because if I would have sat around, it...
Right.
Not
But
good.
see, I would have said, why are you sitting around? Why aren't you in
Well,
a
I know
meeting
that.
3 times a day? Why aren't you working the steps? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you going
Well,
with
I
your
was
sponsor?
doing all that, too.
Yeah. Oh, so you weren't sitting around.
Well, in between doing all that, yeah. I guess.
Contradiction.
Shut up.
Number 2, getting into a relationship within your first year of recovery. Now, this is really a very opinionated issue, because there are people in our 12-step fellowships that'll say, well, that's a treatment thing. That's not in the big book, or that's not in the basic text. No, but using wisdom is. And again, another distraction. And what happens a lot of times is people in their recovery fellowships will get into relationships with people in their recovery fellowships. And now you got 2 dysfunctional people dragging each other down. Next thing you know, they're playing house. And next thing you know, they're getting into a fight and one steals the rent. I mean, the stories go on and on and on because they haven't matured in their new way of thinking yet. They're not ready for that. But I can't do this by myself. You told me so. So then they latch on to a significant other in their first, and this happens in their first couple of months many times.
And I'm like, you're not even healthy enough to go out to coffee with yourself, let alone with somebody else that's really not working a program.
I've heard tale of that they'll get into relationships and one will be farther along into their recovery, and this is really just going to cause problems down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have somebody that's got 10 years, you got somebody that's got 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
And they're just not going to be on the same page for
They're
each
not.
other. Yeah.
They're not.
Somebody with 2 weeks is not going to understand how talking to, it's just a mess. It can turn into a mess.
Two different worlds.
It's just a matter of wisdom. It's not a treatment thing. You know, there's a lot of things that aren't in the big book. Don't eat hemlock.
There's a little wisdom. Yeah.
Not in the big book.
What's hemlock?
It's a
That
poison.
sounded funny, but I
horribly
don't even know
poison
what it
thing.
is.
It's a poisonous plant.
It's something you put in spaghetti.
I hear people say, well, show me in the big book where that is. Well, show me in the big book where don't rub poison oak on your face. Where's that in the big book?
Don't they call it 13th step?
Oh, yeah,
13th
13th stepping is when you're focusing in on another person for the purpose of...
Predatory.
Predatorial,
Yeah.
yeah. It's more of a
so
predatory
dangerous.
thing. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So that's just, I know some people are listening are going to disagree. Well, I got into it. I met my girlfriend or my wife or whatever. We met in AA or we met in NA. Well, good for you. I'm glad it's working out for you. But as what is usually common is that it doesn't work out well within, your first year of recovery. I mean, my gosh, you don't even know who you are yet. You haven't even been sober long enough yet.
Yeah.
So that can eclipse your recovery. That can overshadow it. Number 3, making large purchases, or what I call makeup spending.
Ooh.
I've done
Makeup
that.
spending in early recovery. It's a form of
Makes you
medication.
feel better.
Yeah, it's a form of medicating. So
It's not healthy, but it was fun at
No.
the time.
You'll need a job.
That's why I got the job.
you need that job that you don't have to have to. Maybe you
Yeah.
better go get a job.
Yeah, you're gonna need
I need a second job now.
So that's that part of I got a job, I got a truck, I got a
Yeah.
I got a job, I got a boat, I got a job, I bought a house.
The assistant manager as a date. Yeah.
Screw that. No.
But people will do the makeup spending thing. People that are in long-term recovery will do makeup spending. And don't let guys fool you. Guys love to do makeup spending. We love our toys.
Oh, heck yeah.
We really love our
Who
toys.
doesn't love another set of boots?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Marv does.
There you go.
Did you ever buy something that you really knew you couldn't afford, Marv?
Once.
Was it a vehicle?
Yes.
How did I know?
Oh, there's a story there.
How did I know that?
Is that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, actually, it was a horse trailer.
Horse trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need something for the horse.
I know, but this was probably a little fancier than what I
Oh.
needed.
I didn't even have a horse at the time. Number 4, going to meetings. Now we're talking about 12-step recovery meetings. Going to meetings for the fellowship, but avoiding the step work.
Classic.
Mm-hmm. I'm going. Now I got to tell you, however, in the beginning, I went because it was a safe place to go. I didn't know anything about anything, so it was okay in the very beginning. But when you keep doing that, and the only reason you're going there is, to get a pat on the back and drink bad coffee, and it's your people that aren't real alcoholics, people that aren't truly addicts, maybe they're just abusers, they can probably go to meetings, drink bad coffee, and talk about their day. Good for them. That's great. But people that really are the real deal, I don't know. Don't know. And people say, well, I did it. Well, maybe you're not an alcoholic. Maybe you just abused alcohol. And that's another show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to have to discuss that one of these times.
And we have before. We can do it again.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference, but it looks like a very fine line because the way it displays the behaviors and things are very similar. Getting too buried in service work that you neglect your own health.
I've done that. And
Have
that
ya?
is horrible. Don't
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
No. I did.
So what have you done?
3. At my home group, I did a meeting, every meeting for a month. And I was 2 years sober, but that's when my grandma died.
You were
still,
chairing it?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Oh, every day?
Like, it's 4 times a week.
Right. 4 times a week.
For a month.
You were chairing a meeting 4 times a week for a month.
Uh-huh.
See, now some people would say that isn't overdoing it, but for you it was, right?
Yeah, because I was... I can't talk today. I was already emotional. So
Yeah.
doing it for a month just was not healthy.
Was not a healthy thing. You ever got so busy, Marv, doing something that you just kind of neglected your own health?
Just with the horse business.
With the horse business?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't taking care of yourself, but you were taking care of them horses.
Got on overload a couple times.
You bet. You bet. Number 6, keeping the mindset that meetings alone will keep you sober. That can eclipse your recovery. Again, it kind of falls into, well, just going to meetings, I'll be okay. You know, I got to tell you, I never relapsed more in my life than when I was going to meetings. I was a 30-day wonder. I was going to meetings every time those doors were open, but I wasn't doing anything other than putting my blessed assurance in a chair. That's all I was doing. Go ahead.
There were seeds being planted, though.
There were.
Yeah.
There were. But those seeds, what I'm saying is, though, is if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't got up off my rear end and actually done some of the work, if I had continued just to go, I probably would not have gone anymore. I probably would be dead today.
That was a process you had to go through for yourself at the time.
Yes, but I've seen a lot of people go to meetings and not do anything else, and they disappear or they die. And people say, well, they relapse because they stopped going to meetings. Really?
Yeah.
I don't think relapse... I think you stop going to meetings mentally way before you stop going to meetings.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's what I'm saying.
Because you relapse before you actually take the drink.
I'm just saying,
It's a thought process.
if you have a mindset that just by going to meetings, I'm going to be okay, I think that you may be in dangerous ground. If that's all you're doing.
No, I agree. You're right.
At some point. But you're right, Marv. There were seeds planted. If I hadn't been going to meetings, I wouldn't have heard about the steps to work the steps, for instance. So you're absolutely right about that. Well, you there, Denver Doodle?
Doodle?
Yeah. I'm digesting all that.
He's digesting.
I've heard that before. You know, if you're leaning on meetings, you're not going to make it.
Right.
So at some point, you're going to be involved in your recovery enough that I think you're going to move forward, or you're not involved.
Right.
And it's not going to work.
Now, here's one that is going to be controversial, too. Having more than one sponsor to work the steps, causing confusion. Let me explain. We addicts and alcoholics are very manipulative, and we will do mom against dad. You know?
Tickle the ears.
Well, my sponsor over here says to do the step this way. My sponsor over here says to do it this way. So I'm going to pick the one that's most comfortable.
Most gentle.
You know? And so there is a mindset that says it's good to have more than one sponsor. Now, I understand, you know, even the Word of God says a man with many counselors, you know, is going to benefit more than, you know, just having one. But I think for the purpose of actually doing the step work, I think you need to stick to one guy. Now, I've had several people that I was accountable to. They call them sponsors. I mean, they sponsored me in many, many ways, but I had one guy that did the step work with me. And I think that's wisdom. I think you get too many voices. Well, he said that doesn't agree with this. And, you know, and then we get confused. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts, Marv? What do you think about that?
I agree with you to a point.
Right.
There is wisdom in a multitude of counselors, but you have to really have a lot of discernment about what's really going on as you're listening to these other people, these sponsors or spiritual advisors,
right,
or whatever. And that's where I think that quote on the coin where it says, "To thine own self be true," is very important.
Right.
And sometimes, I know myself, sometimes I have a hard time finding that spot, finding, you know.
Sure.
So I have two people that I go to.
Right.
And I keep it pretty much
To them.
in that space. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's number 8. Working in the recovery field and thinking that will suffice as your recovery program. In other words, maybe you're a drug and alcohol counselor, or maybe you work at Adult and Teen Challenge, or you work as a volunteer somewhere where recovery is a big focus, and thinking that is working your program.
I don't agree with that at all.
That would be working your program? Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, that's not working your program. That's working a program.
Right.
Most certainly, and you are helping others, but you have to get to that point where you're taking care of your own health, too.
Yeah, you got to do the step
You
work.
got to break away from that and go seek counsel and spend time and fellowship with one or two, like Marv says. I have some elders that just bring beautiful insight to me. I think too many cooks, as you said, sponsors, could spoil the stew.
Yeah.
You need to take your main direction and share wholeheartedly with one individual during that. So, yeah, breaking away from helping others at per se Teen Challenge, yeah. You're excited to do it, and I believe maybe you've heard that before. I'm here doing this all the time, and this is me working. No, it's not you working your program.
No.
You're a part of a program, and you're doing great stuff here, but you've got to take care of yourself.
You will never learn more about your own character defects than when you work with another alcoholic or
amen,
addict.
huh? Amen.
That is the truth, too. And then you don't like yourself afterwards.
They will be blaring.
Your button will be pushed.
Yeah, my sponsor is brutal. And I've had the same one since I got sober. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really important. And it is a huge cause for, or contributor, I should say, for people in the professional drug and alcohol counseling field, peer support specialists, licensed drug and alcohol counselors, mentors, people that are pastors that are involved in this, for them going back out to whatever it is they do that takes them out. Whether it's pornography, whether it's drugs and alcohol, whatever it may be, overspending, not taking care of themselves, but working really, really hard, helping to help other people. One of my relapse signs in treatment that I discovered was being so busy doing God's work. That I was so busy doing that I totally put aside my relationship with Him and was working with other people, and it was a huge relapse sign. Number 9, living in a so-called sober living environment where the only focus of recovery is sobriety.
Mine was a joke.
Was it?
I was living with Walter at the time. Come on now.
There are... Poor Walter.
No.
We beat him up a lot on this show. So here's the thing. There are sober living environments, SLEs they call them, where there is a no tolerance policy when it comes to illicit drugs or alcohol. But everything else is fair game. And that is not a recovery environment. People are allowed to come in and service the members of the house, whether it's a women's house or a men's house. Children are allowed to run around in an adult facility and be very disruptive. Visitors come and go like crack addicts at a crack farm. Curfews are not kept. Pornography is allowed on the internet, and all in the name of recovery. That's not recovery. Our core problem is not drugs and alcohol. Those are symptoms. Our core problem is our lack of relationship with our Creator. And when you're developing a relationship with your Creator, those other things begin to fall off. Those other things that are damaging. And if you're living in a sober living environment where that stuff's encouraged, but the only thing that's not is using drugs and alcohol, I will tell you, it will overshadow your recovery every single time.
And see, that's how a lot of the Oxford houses are. They allow everything else, but just not those two things. And they don't do anything about it. That's why I don't care for.
And let me just say, that has been our experience locally, but is not necessarily true with all of them.
Yeah.
Right? But I know several. Anytime you have a self-governing, sober living home, there's a recipe for trouble. You're kind of letting the inmates run the asylum. yeah, not too good of an idea. You know.
I was really surprised, going along with what you're saying, Tony, that I always thought, and of course this is what I get for assuming, that if you were living in an Oxford house, that part of the deal was you'd go to AA meetings or NA meetings.
Right.
Either one. I found out here about a month ago, it shows you how naive I am. They don't do that at all.
No, they don't.
If you're in an Oxford house, you don't have to go to meetings.
Right. They don't follow. They have a tendency not to follow their own bylaws a lot.
And it just blew me away.
And not to pick on Oxford, but there's a lot of sober living homes that are like that.
Yeah.
And they're just not. And you say, what percentage of the people go to meetings that are here? And maybe 1 out of 12 that are living there, if you're lucky. And that one will be very frustrated because he's going or she's going and none of the house is going, and they're they're coming back to a so-called sober living environment where sober living is the only thing that's happening is sober, but they're not in recovery, and it's very frustrating. And you're really kind of back in a dysfunctional household again.
Well, and this is just my experience. Every person I worked with or woman I worked with that was in Oxford, they've relapsed because they're not going to meetings or doing the work or anything. Yeah. They just leave. I never see them again.
Yeah, so you got to be careful. You got to be careful about your sober living environment, that it's not eclipsing your recovery. Because if it is, you need to get out of there. You know, and that's not always easy, because sometimes it's easy to get in someplace, but then to get someplace else to move to, maybe a different thing. It's tricky stuff. Here's number 10. Looking at other mood and mind-altering chemicals as different than your drug of choice.
They are different.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can get addicted to anything.
Oh, I didn't justify that a bit. I just said they are different.
So, a lot of this has to do with prescription drug abuse. I mean, you know, I don't know, and it still goes on. Well, my doctor prescribed it. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be okay. And it says take as needed.
Yeah.
You don't tell a drug addict to take as needed because
they need.
It's needed a lot. You know.
Sometimes I'll do med calls and it seems like people just show up to take some pills. You know. They're substituting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
They're substituting ibuprofen.
This for that.
You
tit
bet.
for tat. So
yeah,
it's just in an addict's nature to pick something up new, and it doesn't have to be drugs or any. You pick up something. We go obsessively with an addictive nature.
Sure.
You know, I took up a hobby, and if I take up a hobby, I go all out.
Right.
You know, and overboard, shall
right.
we say? And I got to be careful of that.
So. What's something that you guys have experienced I'll start with Marv, that has eclipsed your recovery, Marv? Work. Work.
Yeah.
Too much work. How about you, Tony?
Oh. I don't want to answer.
You don't want to answer. Okay, how about you there, Denver?
I'll just go with work like Marv did.
Well, work is definitely one that gets in the way. You get clean, you want to stay busy.
Right.
We want to stay busy. And we forget to take care of ourselves. But yeah, work, all those right there. I mean, everything you touched on can affect it. Most certainly.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
He's sitting right there.
Oh, James?
James. I never want to get away from him. He go to meetings. I'm like, no, I don't want to leave.
Oh, so he doesn't eclipse your recovery.
No.
You do that to yourself.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to answer.
He's shaking his head yes.
Yeah.
He's like, go. I'm like, I don't want to leave.
Because, and so kind of going back to what Marv said, okay, meetings themselves aren't going to keep you sober, but if that's where the seeds are getting planted and you're not going where the seeds are being planted, your garden's probably going to dry up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like.
But I did go all week and 2 were canceled.
Oh, okay. Justification. Good. That eclipses recovery too.
I really liked number 10.
Number 10?
Yeah,
about the different stuff?
Yeah, where I came into the program wanting to get sober.
Right.
And as you go in farther your walk with Christ, suddenly you realize, oh, there's a lot more to me that needs some correcting than just my drinking habits.
Right.
You know, the drinking falls away and more is revealed. So
How many people do you guys know, or if you can count on your hand, that you know within our 12-step fellowships today that really have justified smoking marijuana?
Oh my God, why?
Especially now that it's legal.
We've had this talk. You
Yeah.
and I.
Well, it's legal. It's almost like, well, the doctor gave it to me, right? It's the same kind of mentality. Well, it's legal, so now I'm not being an active addict if I get stoned. What?
I used to live with one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big deal. But he wasn't in recovery either.
No.
No. But I'm talking about people that claim to be in a recovery environment or recovery lifestyle, and they're saying, well, it's not that big of a
That's kind of
deal.
going
At least I don't drink.
With the prescription thing you're talking about, too.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there like that.
Well, maybe it is a good thing at least I don't drink. Because we didn't like you drunk.
So what I have to ask myself if I start thinking like that is, what is going on in my spiritual maturity if I feel like changing the way I feel to that extent of being stoned or creating a euphoric feeling from certain opiates that is so strong? What is going on with my spiritual connection with God if I feel I have to do that?
It's not growing, probably.
Probably not growing.
Yeah.
And isn't the whole point of the 12-step model to grow spiritually in relationship with God? Isn't that really the whole bottom line? It is in the books I read.
But not everybody gets that, unfortunately.
Well, not quickly. Not everybody gets it quickly.
No, not everybody gets it quickly.
Yeah, it may come on later. So, like I said, if getting high is stopping you from being that obnoxious drunk that breaks everything, possibly you should get high during that step of your life. So, not condoning all that, but I'm just saying.
Wolfie. Justification. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I used to say, if I'd rather see you sitting at home and not being able to get off your couch because you're so stoned than you be out and driving in public drunk. But now people are driving in public stoned. I mean, people said, oh, that won't happen. It'll be illegal. Well, it's happened. And we've had deaths where traffic accidents have occurred where marijuana was the only substance they were under the influence of. It wasn't mixed with anything else. Oh, people say, well, that'll never happen. Well, it's happened. And it continues to happen. But that's another show, too. And I did a pot show one time a couple years ago. Boy, did I get hate mail.
Well, we were just discussing that the other day at the table, and I thought that's where you were leading. But then you tied it in as simply recovery people.
Right.
Yeah, that's a substitute thing.
Right. So, anywho's it. There you go. So, listeners, what is eclipsing your recovery? Only you know that, and you've got to be honest with yourself. You just got to sit back, take a personal inventory, and say, really, is the quality of my life really where I really truly want it? And if it's not, what am I allowing to overshadow it? The Word of God says that we need to give up everything that besets us and turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. And by the way, as we understand Him, isn't as we understand it, she, them.
How we want it.
Right. It's as we understand. It's a growing, continual understanding of Him. It's an action term. It's like, this is what I'm doing as I'm walking to the Circle K to get my Red Bull. Could be a substitute.
Could be a substitute.
But my whole point is, it's, as we understand, as we move in our understanding of Him, hopefully the things that shadow our recovery become less and less, and we make more of these things a priority in our lives. So our closing song today is something I want you all to listen to. It's short.
Oh, Lord.
Like the eclipse.
And here we go.
Mama screamed, it's really weird. The sun is gone, it's disappeared. It was here, but now it's done. I'm sure gonna miss that yellow sun. We all yelled, oh mom, gee whiz. The sun is where it always is. It's just tucked in behind the moon. The sun will be back very soon. So listen, mom, just read our lips. Just say it twice, solar eclipse. So listen, mom, just read our lips. Just say it twice, solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse. The tell you the truth, I'm getting a little sick and tired of this stupid song. Oh, my. All right, stop. Right there, stop. Whoosh, that was close. Now, listen, all you silly people. Get back to work. It's over. The stupid thing is over. And until our next broadcast, we're wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Now get back to work.
Good guys, bad boys, we're all the same. Saved by grace is the name of the game. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Cause she's a super cat, she's super kitty, meow.
Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty. Meow.